et l'importance du digital.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you. Start? Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. I think we'll just get started, and hopefully if people hear us, they'll join in or sit down. I'm Christine Shao. I'm the director of the Stevens Initiative at the Aspen Institute. We are an NGO, a think tank based in Washington, D.C. It's a pleasure to be here with you all today. So today, we're going to be speaking about virtual exchange. I listened into some of the panel discussions this morning and was pleased to hear the discussion around the importance of building skills and competencies. And as I was listening to the presentation, I was thinking, or the panel discussion, I was thinking how the key to unlocking those skills and competencies lies in virtual exchange. So I'm really thrilled to be here speaking today about that. Hopefully it will open up some interesting insights and observations of your own as you think about how to bring skills and competencies to your organizations or countries or institutions. So with that, we will begin. I'm having to navigate and do two things at once, so apologize if I'm a little bit rusty. Here we go. Okay. Yes. So at the Stevens Initiative, we aim to make international learning experiences available and accessible to an unprecedented number of young people through virtual exchange. Virtual exchange connects youth in the United States with youth in the Middle East and North Africa. That's where the country and the regions that we focus on at the Stevens Initiative are right now. We do other field building work, but in terms of grant making and giving out funding to organizations, we focus currently on the United States and the Middle East and North Africa. But our other work focuses for the entire world. The Stevens Initiative was launched in 2015. We were conceived and developed in close partnership with the family of Ambassador Stevens. With the family of Ambassador Stevens, it is a lasting tribute to Ambassador Stevens, who studied in Europe during high school and college, and he served as a Peace Corps volunteer in Morocco. He loved Morocco. These experiences shaped the view of his world, they fueled his curiosity, and they prepared him to be a diplomat of goodwill who earned the esteem of people wherever he served. The Stevens Initiative is sponsored by the U.S. Department of State. We also have funding provided by the U.S. government. We are administered by the Aspen Institute, as I said, in Washington, D.C. And we also have additional funding provided by the Bezos Family Foundation, and of course, the government of Morocco and the government of the UAE. So this presentation is going to delve into the Stevens Initiative, especially our role in funding promising virtual exchange programs and in serving as a field builder. We will also touch on the elements of a virtual exchange program, as well as highlighting how you can become involved in our work, whether that is by joining an existing program, learning from our resources, or attending our events. Young people need global competence and career readiness skills to tackle today's challenges in order to take advantage of the opportunities before them. There's a tremendous value to virtual exchange, and any organization, institution, or even country can bring virtual exchange to their people. Skills developed through these global education opportunities prepare young people to enter the workforce and to be active global citizens. There are many important topics being discussed at this conference, from climate to employment, and virtual exchange is a tool that can better prepare young people who will need to engage across borders, working internationally to solve these problems. Through virtual exchange, people have benefited from working on cross-national teams, so they're able to work in teams and communicate better, communicate the knowledge that they've learned, their understanding of the world, and work across different cultures. One point that I wanted to actually read out here was 80% of employers who are based in the Middle East and North Africa report that communication and collaboration and teamwork skills are critical skills for junior and mid-level employees. I'm going to play a video now on describing virtual exchange, and then we'll come back to the presentation.
Today, young people need more opportunities to communicate and collaborate with peers from different places and backgrounds. Virtual exchange is an innovative way to give young people the knowledge, skills, and experiences they need to address global challenges and participate in the 21st century workforce. Through virtual exchange, young people become active global citizens and professionals. Virtual exchange uses technology to connect people for education and exchange and is facilitated by trained educators. What does virtual exchange look like? At its most basic level, virtual exchange uses technology to bring young people together. These interactions come in many forms, including paired courses, pitch competitions, and hackathons that include collaborative project-based learning. Video conference dialogues and language learning practice activities are also common. Virtual exchange programs are implemented in many ways by a variety of people and organizations. Young people might connect through a school or university course, during an after-school club, at a weekend conference, or even from their own homes. Many programs involve sharing written or recorded messages. Some programs also involve live communication through video conference. Virtual exchange programs can vary widely in topic, technology tools, and amount of activity. No matter the form that it takes, virtual exchange can expand access to meaningful international learning and experiences. Our research shows that virtual exchange helps young people learn how to communicate and collaborate with people from different backgrounds and increase their knowledge and curiosity about different cultures. In the words of one participant, in virtual exchange, you really get to learn first and then apply what you learned. You get to master content and collaborate with others all over the world, no matter the distance, language, or time barriers.
So just to quickly recap, virtual exchange connects young people from diverse places. It uses everyday technology, so laptops, your phones, for collaborative learning and interaction through sustained and facilitated engagement. Usually virtual exchange programs typically serve young people. Many virtual exchange programs are international. They connect participants in different countries to help them gain those important global competencies that we talked about earlier, among other knowledge, skills, and abilities. So what does virtual exchange do? So we've broadly framed the need for virtual exchange. We've defined what it is. So if we can talk just a little bit about the value of virtual exchange. This value can be different based on who you are and where you're located. The things that you see listed here aren't the only things that make virtual exchange valuable, but they do encompass a lot of those themes. Virtual exchange provides an accessible way for more young people at all ages to have a cross-cultural experience without having to leave their hometown, and they can do it at a much lower cost. Virtual exchange also allows young people to learn any academic subject through plans set by their educator or their educational institutions, while also learning to be more globally minded, using technology and developing communication skills, so those important soft skills that we spoke about earlier. So if you think about how the pandemic has changed the way schools and educational institutions teach, we know that good facilitated online engagement is necessary. Virtual exchange has never been more important and offers new ways to engage more young people in global experiences based on sustained partnerships and effective facilitation. It helps participants reach key learning goals as well. I think overall, the most important thing to think about with virtual exchange is that it allows you to create a meaningful connection and also allows you to gain those important skills, whether they're hard skills or they're soft skills. Educators can incorporate virtual exchange into curricular priorities, whether that focus is on social emotional learning or the deployment of 21st century skills and global competencies. Virtual exchange allows young people to develop and learn in key areas. So for example, right now, the Stevens Initiative, we are funding a project with IFTD, which is an NGO based in Morocco, and they're working with schools in the US on cross-collaborative teams. And they're working together to learn the UN SDG goals. And from there, they're gonna develop an art project that will display their understanding, their collective understanding of what that SDG means. So they're developing teamwork skills, project management skills, problem solving, and they're learning how to communicate over different time zones, so they're gaining key technology skills along the way. They're also learning to communicate their different perspectives as they work collaboratively on a project together. All along the way, gaining self-confidence, a deeper connection with themselves as Moroccans and as Americans, while also understanding their similarities along the way. And so here you can see on the slide that virtual exchange can be integrated into a wide range of topics. In 2020, the Stevens Initiative covered about 67 different topics, including community engagement. We discussed the coronavirus pandemic, healthcare, art, of course, the important science, technology, engineering, and math. It can go into any curricular topic. So in the next slide, I'm gonna share of a former Stevens Initiative funded program called the Sister City STEAM Museum, and also play a very short video for you. So in this project, American and Moroccan youth were connected together. They collaborated on assignments, and through that, they developed an online digital museum.
We're living in a digital age now. Our classrooms do not reflect that. What we really need are creative and unorthodox ways of teaching and learning, and virtual exchange is one of the most powerful tools for doing that. Project is creating an exhibit, and in our case, it's an exhibit about a dinosaur called Spinosaurus. It begins with getting to know one another. That's the first step in any collaborative teamwork. So they get to know one another, they do research around their topic, they collect digital artifacts, and they are now assembling them into a digital exhibit, which they'll upload into the new STEAM Museum.
I work in one of the most violent, one of the poorest communities in Chicago. And for my school, this has been a life-changing opportunity.
I'm enjoying my job more because I'm experiencing new means of teaching.
Anytime my students get access to technology and what's happening in real-time, real-life science, I am moving closer to my goal of introducing students to science careers. Science careers translate into economic opportunity. When you look at the careers and jobs in the United States that provide the greatest potential for income development, they're science careers. So for me, it's an issue of equity and the ability to move into a different economic class.
As the program went on, I noticed that my interest in science and technology started to grow. And those are areas that I previously had little to no interest in.
The project has skill-based goals built into it, digital literacy and giving them opportunities to learn new skills with digital media and becoming more comfortable with digital technologies.
In our school, a lot of times technology still seems to be an add-on. We're not able to integrate it very well into what we're doing. And this program allowed us to really integrate that. They've also been able to look at evaluating different websites and finding what has quality information and what might be more questionable information.
for me, as a language teacher, I want students to initiate the conversation and start a conversation without learning it.
We actually exchanged conversations in Arabic and English. They taught me some words I didn't know. I taught them some words they didn't know. We learned, it was just that great cultural exchange.
I am very fond of English. I've been learning it since I was like 10 years old, and I don't find a lot of people to talk it with. But being on this project and being with other people that have like the same interests in having the chance to actually speak with native people, I'm actually quite happy.
Ismi Sam, Omri Tamin Yatasha my hobbies include running cross country like Aaron, singing, and volleyball.
The core problem in the world today is this lack of respect and tolerance for different views and for values that differ from our own. And that is the thing that is at the heart of virtual exchange and any kind of exchange.
Empathy is critical to resolving conflict in a nonviolent way. We're all going to have differences, but when we can have empathy for one another, we can see each other's humanity.
Even though you're from a place and the other person is from a whole other completely different place, you can still reach out and communicate and still have a lot in common.
People have to learn how to talk to one another from not just within the classroom, but outside of the classroom, outside of their communities, outside of their countries. And this project does that.
So I'm just going to touch a little bit on the work of the Stevens Initiative and the role that we play in the virtual exchange field. As I mentioned earlier, we see ourselves as a grant maker, but we're also a field builder, so we're working to grow and scale the virtual exchange field. Our work falls into 3 different areas. Our very first pillar, that's what we call it, is we give grants out. We fund virtual exchange programs that connect youth in the United States and youth in the Middle East and North Africa. We do that through grant making. We run a competition every 2 years, and we give grants out to NGOs, educational institutions, those who are interested in bringing virtual exchange to their communities that connect US and Middle East and North Africa. We also have a knowledge hub. We create knowledge and share that knowledge back with the field because we know that virtual exchange is an emerging field. So if we know that there are gaps in the field that need to be addressed, we want to develop resources that are going to help identify or meet those gaps. So for example, if someone is interested in starting a virtual exchange, we want to develop a toolkit that is going to show that person how you can start a virtual exchange on your own. We also collect data, we share best practices, and generally develop resources to help grow the field. And we also learn from the work of our grantees. So Pillar 1 and Pillar 2, they're interconnected and work with each other. We act as a knowledge hub where those interested in learning about virtual exchange can find a wide range of guides, toolkits, webinars, and studies. And then our third area of our work is what we call advocacy. We advocate for virtual exchange around the world so more young people can have the opportunity to have an important global education or global learning opportunity. And as part of this work, we raise awareness about virtual exchange and its impact, because our goal is for as many young people to have an opportunity to have a virtual exchange. To date, we've awarded 86 grants, and by 2023, we will reach nearly 75,000 young people in the US and MENA region. The grants that we funded vary from large programs that reach thousands of participants to small programs that reach hundreds of students. As I mentioned, our recipients have included higher education institutions and nonprofits, but we also have organizations that traditionally run in-person programs and have pivoted to virtual exchange, whether because of the pandemic or to expand the kinds of programs that they offer. The virtual exchange themselves have ranged in duration from just a few days to a full academic semester, or sometimes even in a full year. On this slide, you're going to see some of the testimonials from participants who have participated in Stevens Initiative funded programs. I'm just going to read through them. Jean from World Learning The Experiment Digital, which is a high school program. Jean said, "The Experiment Digital helped me gain a global perspective and get a better understanding of myself and my goals. The program empowered me to expand my view of the world and see how I can make a difference." Hella from the William Davidson Institute at the University of Michigan's M2 Gate said, "Virtual exchange opened a lot of doors for me. One most important is my Fulbright scholarship. Thanks to online tools, I met a lot of amazing people who are still my friends, and we worked on an amazing project. It taught me to challenge myself and grow as a person, and I was very grateful for the opportunity." Keep forgetting to click, I'm so sorry. Ways to engage. So as you can see on the slide, there are several ways to engage with our Stevens Initiative program and to bring virtual exchange to your community. I'm going to speak really briefly about a few of them right now, but I invite you to go to our website. It's www.stevensinitiative.org, and to either attend an event of ours online or to download some of our resources to learn more about virtual exchange, or explore how you can do virtual exchange on your own. There's toolkits, there's guides to start a virtual exchange of your own. So the Join a Program pathway is meant for schools and districts, post-secondary institutions, and nonprofit organizations who are interested in joining. They can fill out a form, and they can, for free of charge, join a program of one of our State Department-funded programs already. It's a really, really wonderful opportunity for those who aren't quite ready to start their own virtual exchange, but want to bring virtual exchange to their educational institutions to just kind of get a sample of it. The second thing is applying for a grant. We run, as I said, an annual grant competition every 2 years, so we'll be announcing a new grant competition early 2022. So if you are in the region that we work at, I encourage you to take a look, and we'll post more about that on our website. I'm going to go to the next slide, which is just some of the resources that we have out there. One of them is called what we say a virtual exchange typology. It just provides you common definitions of virtual exchange to learn how to speak the language. As we know, communicating in the same language, and if you're starting something new, can be very important. And we also have a guide out there that's meant for educational institutions who are in leadership positions. And now these are the slides I'm actually most excited about speaking to you with. So in my final slides, I want to talk to you about how to bring virtual exchange to your country or to your institution. At the Stevens Initiative, we've developed several pathways for virtual exchange. At the center of this is empowering the institutions and the people to have agency in bringing this really innovative tool to their communities. The first pathway is what we call the Virtual Exchange Academy. The Virtual Exchange Academy prepares you to participate in the virtual exchange field. You will be trained on the elements of facilitation, partnership development, program design, and technology and logistics, for example. You will receive this training and then develop your plan for virtual exchange, how you're going to bring it to your community or to your organization. So this is really the foundational elements of how to do virtual exchange. I'm going to skip to the next two. 1, 2. The design with a partner pathway. This was one of the very first pathways we developed, actually specifically for Morocco. It's a pathway where the initiative matches 2 institutions together and coaches them as they develop a virtual exchange program in an equitable way that addresses both of their needs. And through this process, 2 institutions will come together. They'll identify what their needs are separately and collectively. They'll identify learning outcomes that they want their students to walk away from, and from there, they'll co-develop a plan for virtual exchange, and that plan will include how they're going to bring it to their communities and to their institutions. And then the last pathway that I want to speak about is connected classrooms. Connected classrooms is sort of our newest pathway. It's one that we're extremely excited about. It's been running for, I would say, the last couple of years. The 3 elements, though, I will be brief, of connected classrooms are capacity building. We provide an expert trainer to you that will teach you how to do virtual exchange. The second is also providing institutional support to leaders as they think about how they can develop plans to institutionalize connected classrooms on their campuses or in their schools. And the third thing is creating a global virtual exchange community. We want everyone who's participating in virtual exchange to benefit from the knowledge and the experiences that they're gained, and hopefully form new partnerships outside of the immediate connections that we're making. So that's one of the most important pillars of connected classrooms. With that, I also want to mention how honored we are to be partnering with UNCG School to implement virtual exchange. And I would also like to thank Mr. Aziz Sayer for being a champion in driving virtual exchange at this school. And with that, we have a surprise here. We actually have a participant who is participating in Connected Classrooms right now. I want to give a round of applause for Riham, who is a participant. She's gonna come and talk a little bit of what this has been like for her. And we should give her a round of applause because she's a little nervous. So it's wonderful to have you here. Riham.
Hello, everyone. I know my voice is not it's not clear. I'm just sick a little bit, so accept it, please. Well, hope you had a good afternoon, and for the guests who are not from Morocco, hope you enjoyed your trip here in Dakhla and you enjoyed your time. I also want to thank, Christine for having me here. My name is Riham Ilhani, and I'm from north of Morocco. So more precisely, I live in Hossima, from Hossima. And I'm 18 years old, and I'm in my second year in UNCG Dakhla. And also, I can mention that I am a young businesswoman. Yeah, as you know all, l'UNCG Dakhla was created only in 2017. And one of the best years here that we had in Dakhla is the last year. I know you are all wondering why. It's because simply we celebrated the first promotion in UNCG Dakhla. So after 5 years of hard work. Yeah, so lately in UNCG we started working on a project with our English teacher, our professor Fatem Zahra Al-Amrani. And it's a partnership with the new University of Mexico in America. So it's a project where we are working together with an American team. So we have in our project like five subjects. I'm a little bit nervous, so don't mind me. And yeah, so as I said, we have 4 subjects. It's marketing and sales, and then we have hospitality and tourism, and human development and human resources, and non-profit organizations. So me and my team, like our team, we're working on marketing and sales. And we have we had just done our last meeting last night, and it was about distributing the rules. And some of the rules that we have in our project, like we have the interviewer, the person who's going to interview the marketing manager. We have the filmer and the editor, and the planner and the translator and the researcher. I just took the researcher rule, and it will just I will just came up with questions and assist with assignments. And in the end of our project, of course, there's always a reason behind. Like, we don't do something just like this. So the purpose is, of course, we as business students, we were going to work on that project so we can learn to manage projects, and especially marketing is the one I'm working on, and also to improve our exchange and communication with American people, since they are the ones who we are working with, and even if they are far or if they are in another country. And I think that's it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
you. Liam, did I say your name right? Liam? Oh, Liam, okay, good. I'm glad I got it. That actually concludes the presentation. I mean, Liam, I just want to thank you for bringing life to the impact of virtual exchange. We probably should have started the presentation with that instead of going through all of my slides. But in closing, I want to thank all of you for listening and to again think about virtual exchange as a tool that can be used by any organization to bring the competencies and skills that you want either your youth or women or young girls to have in the future. Virtual exchange is innovative, it's accessible, and it's affordable, and it can be brought to any place. So as you're thinking about that and dreaming up big ideas, I hope that you'll keep the Stevens Initiative in mind. We would love to connect, so if anytime you would like to talk, please reach out to us and connect, and we will be there to answer any questions. Thank you. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Okay, thank you.
Merci beaucoup, Christine, pour l'intervention. Zuhail Khdissi, pour une intervention sur comment la technologie va changer le futur de l'agriculture. Donc, j'appelle Karine Gattegno. Zuhail Khdissi. Donc, Karine Gattegno, il nous rejoint d'Israël, donc un investisseur en technologie et actuellement directeur au niveau de BKL. Mais il faut rentrer, tu as ton intervention. Mais bien sûr. Donc, quelques secondes, Zuhail va nous rejoindre. Merci.
Bonjour tout le monde. Je voulais peut-être juste, avant de démarrer, je pense qu'on a deux invités. Madame Rella, je ne sais pas si elle est là. Okay. Okay, so I think I need to switch to English. Okay, perfect. So the theme of this panel will be how technology can participate to change the landscape of agriculture. And we are pleased to have with us today Karine to discuss about this very important topic. So I will start first by just saying that we discovered during this period of pandemic that, okay, so we discovered that agriculture and food security is something which is fundamental for the future of humanity. So health, agriculture, and education, which can be considered as sector of life, the sector that promote life and help the life of citizens, is something which is really important for our economies. And the idea now is really to discuss what is the current situation of agriculture in the world. So have some ideas about different perspectives from different regions of the world, talk about how agriculture is managed now, and talk about technology and how technology can improve and how it's already improving a lot of things in terms of how agriculture is done all around the world. So this is the idea of this panel. So I will maybe start with Corinne. So can we just, from your perspective, have an idea about why use technology in agriculture? Agriculture is a very old sector, and technology is very, let's say, recent or new thing. What has technology to do with the sector of agriculture? So I don't know. Okay, so 1 minute for the mic. Or,
yeah, now it's okay, thank you. So first of all, thank you for having me here. I'm very excited to be here. It's my first time in Morocco. Oh, perfect.
this is the alias of direct, so
Yeah,
I think now it's
okay, let's try it again.
Yeah.
So again, thank you for having me here, and thank you for our host, and thank you for Hanan for making it happen. I have to say that it's very, very exciting to be here. As an Israeli, first time in Morocco. Me and my partner in Balarieli is here, who is going to speak tomorrow also on the future of tech. And I'm sure this is the first step of many, thank you, in many more collaborations and cooperation to come. So again, it's an honor and a privilege to be here. And now let's deep dive into the topic, agriculture and tech. So first of all, few words about the Israeli ecosystem. Israel, as you all know, is a well-known technological hub. We have over 6,500 tech companies and startups. This is the most density in terms of startups in any other places in the world. 400 companies of which are dealing with agriculture technologies throughout the value chain of agriculture, from bio-inputs, meaning creating new crops and improving the existing one, smart farming, utilizing AI, data, computer vision, and IoT in order to bring the farmers more data and more insights to grow more with less. Post-harvest solutions, and of course, marketplace and other platforms to connect the growers directly to the consumers. Now, technology, and I think that the pandemic proved all of us that technology is not nice to have anymore. It's a must. In order to be resilient to other crises, in order to have food security, we need to implement technology throughout all of our life. If it's health, if it's agriculture, to make sure that we are able to utilize data and insights from different tools and different technologies, and to empower women and farmers and growers all around the world to be independent, to make more money, to sell, and utilize technology better.
Very good. I think they're coming with the mic, but maybe we can exchange if it's possible. Okay. So just one question, because I am a grandson of a farmer, and one of the things I used to have as insight from him is that a farmer is very smart. I mean, we're talking about smart farming now, but Do you think that, I mean, farming is really a smart activity because the way it is organized, the way you can have some kind of activities that finance other activities, like, for example, having, sheep, for example, can finance the agriculture and so on. Do you think that we need necessarily technology to make it smart, or we need technology to enable, let's say, this already smart agriculture to be kind of more scalable or more productive?
Sure, thank you. So I think it's actually both. Today what's happening in Israel is that all the second generation of farmers want to be entrepreneurs. So they combine the agricultural know-how from their fathers and grandfathers with technological tools. But today I think that one of the main challenges of smallholder farmers is that they are growing in products in order to meet their own needs. And I think that collaboration between smallholder farmers and between other farmers to grow together, not necessarily only to provide your own need, but to also to provide your own need and other global needs, and to be able to sell outside of the local territory will enable people to be more independent, to grow, and obviously also to scale.
Very good. Okay, so I may ask maybe, Samira, I don't know if you can just give us your take from another perspective, because you have a completely different perspective on this topic, but can I have your let's say, point of view regarding what kind of effects technology can have on a very old sector as agriculture?
Okay. I speak in French. It's
okay,
possible?
okay,
Okay,
bon.
no problem. Maybe I make a little presentation to
sure,
people.
Of course.
Sorry.
Sure, yeah, sure.
Donc, je vais me présenter pour ceux qui ne me connaissent pas. Donc, je suis Samira Ben Ali. Je travaille dans l'industrie depuis plus de 15 ans pour les rendre compétitifs, durables et connectés. Pour être très brève, je fais partie d'une organisation mondiale de l'excellence opérationnelle dans lequel il y a 20 pays du monde, et l'idée c'est d'accompagner les industriels, tous secteurs, notamment l'agritech et les secteurs agro-industrie. Donc par rapport à la question qui a été posée dans ma situation et dans la situation des industriels, le continent, on va partir sur une échelle globale et après on va faire un focus, on va faire un effet entonnoir, on va partir de plus en plus précis. Mais déjà, à l'échelle globale mondiale, je vais quand même le rappeler, c'est important, c'est que l'Afrique, c'est le continent d'espoir. Il fait partie des continents d'espoir et c'est un continent qui est le deuxième poumon vert de la planète. Et j'insiste parce que c'est très important. Pourquoi ? Parce qu'aujourd'hui, on promouvoit l'agriculture et on fait en sorte que l'agriculture soit optimisée, aussi bien au niveau rural, mais aussi dans l'accompagnement à travers l'industrie. Donc il y a plusieurs façons d'accompagner l'agriculture, l'agritech, avec les technologies, donc c'est pour ça qu'on parle d'agritech. Effectivement, comme l'a dit Karine, c'est l'IA, c'est tout ce qui est relatif aux nouvelles technologies donc, qui sont autour de la blockchain, la sécurité des données, toute la partie sécurité sanitaire aussi. Il ne faut pas l'oublier, la partie qui est dédiée à l'eau, qui va irriguer l'agriculture, qui doit avoir un suivi aussi. Donc tout ça, c'est important. Donc voilà, tout ça, ça constitue l'agritech, et donc il y a plusieurs façons d'optimiser. Et alors, en ce qui concerne l'agro-industrie, c'est pareil. Donc je vais donner un exemple. J'ai entendu il y a quelques jours qu'une société au Maroc, une grande société dans l'agro-industrie, avait besoin d'optimiser son process. Donc pour l'optimiser, il avait besoin de nouvelles technologies. Donc les nouvelles technologies, il a choisi de les cibler dans les endroits les plus critiques. Et ça, c'est la démarche qu'on doit avoir, peu importe le secteur d'activité, y compris dans l'agriculture. Et le secteur le plus critique dans l'agriculture, l'un des plus critiques en tout cas, c'est quoi ? C'est le domaine de l'eau. Voilà. Ici, par exemple, dans la région de Dakhla, il y a un énorme projet qui est d'installer une désalinisation pour permettre d'irriguer en fait les terres. Donc on a une désalinisation, en fait, c'est l'osmose inverse, tout simplement. Et donc il y a deux problématiques. C'est que quand on désalinise l'eau, on enlève les sels. Donc là, c'est compréhensible. Mais qu'est-ce qu'on en fait des sels? Eh bien, il y a deux problèmes. Le premier, c'est que quand une terre, elle n'est pas assez alimentée, si vous ne mettez pas suffisamment d'eau, elle va être trop riche en sel. Et donc, elle va laisser mourir toute l'agriculture. Et si vous l'alimentez avec une eau qui a été désalinisée, ça veut dire que quelque part, vous allez polluer ailleurs. Donc en fait, le message que je suis en train de vous faire comprendre, c'est on cherche à tout prix à trouver des solutions pour rendre les choses durables et aussi d'accompagner l'agriculture avec des technologies. Mais le mot le plus important en 2021, 2022 jusqu'à 2030, le mot le plus important, et y compris il aurait dû être passé pendant la COP26, c'est la notion d'équilibre. C'est-à-dire qu'il ne faut pas apporter des technologies durables à un secteur pour aller polluer un autre secteur ou environnement. Donc après, on risque de parler de pollution verte, voire même de pollution bleue, puisqu'on alimente avec de l'eau propre les agriculteurs, certes, mais on va polluer tous les océans et les mers à cause du sel. Donc on détruit les barrières de corail, etc., etc. Donc voilà, donc tout ça, c'est pour dire qu'en fait, oui, les solutions, elles existent au niveau de l'agriculture, au niveau de l'industrie, et c'est les solutions technologiques, mais il faut savoir les placer au bon endroit. Et les bons endroits, ce sont les endroits critiques. Et la place de l'humain, elle a tout son sens dans la façon de positionner ces nouvelles technologies. Voilà.
Très bien, Samira. Merci beaucoup. Encore une fois, je m'excuse pour le petit souci de coordination au début. Alors, je sais que tu as tu as aujourd'hui une grande expérience en Europe dans différents domaines, mais dans le domaine de l'agro-industrie en particulier. Alors, en fait, tu connais aussi le Maroc, donc tu connais un peu le contexte marocain. Je voulais juste savoir quel est on va dire, ton point de vue par rapport à l'impact de ces transformations que connaît aujourd'hui l'agriculture grâce à toutes les startups qui émergent dans l'agritech, etc., sur on va dire, sur l'agriculteur moyen, sur la personne qui a son propre lot de terrain. Comment aujourd'hui on peut l'accompagner? Parce que parfois le souci n'est pas qu'un souci technologique, il y a peut-être aussi des problématiques de mindset. Comment, je pense que vous avez déjà fait des choses dans ce sens, surtout quand on travaille dans l'agro-industrie, on a un amont qui est principalement un amont déstructuré ou non encore structuré. Comment on peut accompagner les petits agriculteurs avec la technologie pour pouvoir justement avoir de l'impact sur la vie des millions d'agriculteurs au Maroc, par exemple, et en Afrique?
Pour cette question, je pense qu'il y aura plusieurs volets. Le premier, ça reste malgré tout le financier, donc le financement. Les agriculteurs ont besoin d'être accompagnés au niveau financement par les institutions. Donc je sais qu'il existe pas mal de dispositifs qui sont mis en place et qui continuent d'être mis en place parce qu'il y a une vraie il y a une prise de conscience, et particulièrement depuis la période Covid. On s'est rendu compte qu'il y a une énorme richesse. Même si les mindsets sont bloqués au niveau de l'agriculteur moyen, il reste quand même la jeunesse qui est présente et qui permet d'influencer l'agriculteur moyen. D'ailleurs, même l'industriel. Tout à l'heure, dans la conférence qu'on a eue ce matin sur l'entrepreneuriat, l'accès au marché, donc je vais y venir parce qu'il y a un lien. L'agriculteur ou l'industriel, on en parlait aussi ensemble, hein, il doit s'exprimer. Il faut qu'il s'exprime, c'est la base. À partir du moment où il exprime ses besoins, la deuxième chose, et je te rejoins puisque nous en avons parlé, c'est qu'il ait confiance à ce qu'il confie en termes de besoins, l'industriel ou l'agriculteur moyen. À partir de là, il y a le financement qui va se faire autour pour lui proposer une solution adéquate et personnalisée par rapport à sa problématique et à son besoin. On va lui fournir la solution. Mais c'est comme tous les gadgets. On peut offrir tous les jouets du monde à quelqu'un. S'il ne sait pas s'en servir, ça n'a aucun intérêt. Et là, on vient sur le mindset et l'accompagnement technologique, donc la formation. Et c'est vrai qu'on parle beaucoup de la jeunesse, mais on ne parle pas assez des agriculteurs d'un certain âge et des agriculteurs âgés. Par exemple, ce qu'on devrait faire, C'est quand il y a des hackathons, par exemple, quand il y a des événements ponctuels sur ces thématiques-là, où il y a les institutionnels, il faut aussi initier ces agriculteurs. Même s'ils ne comprennent pas, il y a la jeunesse qui est autour de ces agriculteurs-là, il y a les intervenants qui sont les institutionnels, qui vont petit à petit leur faire changer le mindset. Parce que c'est aussi une question de fierté. Il faut toujours se placer à la place des autres, je dirais. C'est que la première réaction, si je me mettais à la place de ces personnes-là, c'est « oui, mais moi, je suis déjà à un certain niveau, ça me convient très bien, si je rajoute quelque chose, ça risque de me poser des problèmes, etc. etc. » Eh bien, nous, on est là pour lui dire que non, puisqu'il y a d'autres success stories qui fonctionnent. Et la jeunesse qui a produit ces innovations-là ont fait des tests, ils ont fait des prototypes, donc ça fonctionne. Et il faut qu'ils le voient. Et pour le voir, il faut qu'ils assistent à ces démonstrations de prototypage et donc à ces hackathons. Voilà.
Je pense, I think Karine want to give some feedback on that, but I want at the same time to ask a question. Why we don't see, for example, a lot of, I mean, you can of course give your opinion about what we discussed, but why we don't see a lot of farmers, and we know, by the way, that a lot of farmers are women. In countries like in Africa, in Morocco, we have a lot of farmers who are women, and why we don't see them in the agri-tech sector? Why we don't see a lot of them going the extra mile from what they do on, let's say, a daily basis? Because we saw already farmers go into agro-industries. This is something that is kind of common and happened before. But why we are not seeing farmers going to this extra mile and going to become kind of agri-tech and try to innovate in the agriculture sector? Because they are the guys who knows what happens in the everyday life of a farmer. So they can be more kind of find the best solution for what they live on a daily basis.
So first of all, I want to continue my colleague point over here, because I think that not necessarily every technology can be adapted in every place. What fits to the Israeli market not necessarily will fit the US market or the market in Morocco or other countries in Africa. So I think that the main issue is to work together to adapt different solutions to the local needs, first of all, also to combine it with training, to hear and learn from each other. I think that this is the most important thing, to understand what type of challenges everyone is coping with, and to make sure that the technology will be utilized correctly. And to your question, I think that the agriculture is a very traditional industries of hundreds of years, and it's already happening, but it will take time. And I think that the smart move will be not necessarily to start with technology that is very complicated, like drones and computer vision, but to choose the solutions that are actually simple to use and can be increased yield and make a true revolution. And after all of us will use the simple technology solutions, we will be able to go to the next step and utilize technologies that are more complicated and need more know-how and expertise in order to implement them.
Just for us to understand, for example, some of the impact, the technological impact that this high, let's say, technology can have on farmers. For example, let's take one technology, I don't know, artificial intelligence, or what kind of impact in daily life of a farmer this type of technology can have?
Sure. So today a farmer, in order to understand how much he needs to irrigate, how many fertilizer he needs to go actually to the crops. Sometimes it's huge fields, and you need to use a lot of manpower in order to understand that. Today technology enable you to either use a drone or your smartphone here from your pocket to take picture, use computer vision, and to get insights from AI tools about what the situation with your crops, how much you need to irrigate, how much you need how many fertilizer you need to use. if there is a special disease, what the kind of treatment that you need to provide the field, and again, everything in minutes, in the hand of in a small machine, and these things weren't obviously available before. And today you can actually grow more, use less water. As we mentioned, water is one of the main issues all around the world, so you can use less water. The crop will be healthier, you will be able to use less fertilizer, and again, to grow much more with less resources.
Perfect. So I go back to Samira. Alors, d'un point de vue d'agro-industriel ou d'un point de vue, on va dire un peu plus, on va dire industriel, aujourd'hui, on sait très bien au niveau de l'agro-industrie, on commence pas mal à utiliser les technologies, etc. Maintenant, quel est aujourd'hui, si on veut parler encore une fois de manière concrète, parce que j'ai cru comprendre qu'il y a des avantages qui sont des avantages en termes de productivité, des avantages en termes de coûts de production, des avantages en termes d'optimisation des ressources, etc. Maintenant, d'un point de vue justement de l'agro-industrie, quels seraient les avantages justement de ces technologies de pointe et comment ils peuvent changer complètement la manière avec laquelle un agro-industriel opère aujourd'hui dans son écosystème?
Alors, je vais donner un exemple sur lequel j'ai travaillé dans un autre secteur qui va appuyer celui de l'agro-industrie. Donc en fait, il y a un enjeu mondial qui concerne les semi-conducteurs. Et il y a deux problèmes dans les semi-conducteurs, c'est la matière première et les ressources. Donc, moi, je travaille avec un client qui est donc l'application de l'intelligence artificielle pour l'industrie. Donc, on m'a demandé de réfléchir un peu sur cette thématique-là. Et donc, ce que j'ai proposé, c'est de dire, par exemple, ça, dans ce cas précis, l'intelligence artificielle peut permettre d'optimiser l'organisation des ressources humaines dans l'usine. Donc, en faisant ça, ça veut dire quoi? Ça veut dire qu'on apporte un outil pour alléger l'humain à mieux s'organiser dans l'usine. Donc, si on l'aide à mieux s'organiser, il libère du temps. Donc, si on libère du temps, on libère des ressources. Et on fait en sorte de libérer les ressources les plus expérimentées pour qu'elles restent dans le savoir-faire même de la chaîne de valeur. Donc ça, c'est dans les semi-conducteurs. Voilà à quoi sert l'IA. Et dans l'agro-industrie, ça sera pareil. Ça, c'est un exemple.
Alors je comprends parfaitement, mais les deux exemples que vous avez donnés, je me permets quand même de vous challenger un peu, mais les deux exemples que vous avez donnés, en fait, quelque part, on parle principalement de changements au niveau opérationnel, c'est-à-dire dans le modèle opérationnel. Je sais que l'intelligence artificielle peut apporter aussi par rapport à des changements, par rapport à la relation client, à la customer experience de manière générale, etc. Mais quid du business model? Comment est-ce que vous avez des exemples concrets dans l'agro-industrie ou dans l'agriculture ou un business model? Parce que finalement, un agriculteur, encore une fois, on revient au fait que c'est un métier qui est vieux comme le monde. Comment est-ce qu'il y a quelque chose encore à changer dans le business model fondamental de l'agriculture, de l'agriculteur, qui peut être opéré? Et je vais ajouter juste à ça une autre question, mais qui est aussi complémentaire et qui peut... On a vu dernièrement énormément d'émergence de solutions de traçabilité dans toute la chaîne de valeur. C'est-à-dire, aujourd'hui, un consommateur peut parfois être intéressé par savoir tel type de produit qu'il est en train d'acheter, il provient d'où, il a été produit par qui, avec quelle valeur, avec quelle manière, etc. Est-ce qu'aujourd'hui, il y a des choses de ce type qui peuvent changer la manière avec laquelle l'agriculture se fait ou le métier s'exerce? Donc voilà, en résumé, quid du business model? Et est-ce que tout ce qui est traçabilité peut être un exemple de ce changement de paradigme qui est en train d'être opéré et qui peut avoir un impact, on va dire, beaucoup plus permanent et beaucoup plus structurel sur la chaîne de valeur agricole?
Ok. Donc, en fait, oui, bien sûr. En fait, il y a plusieurs volets. Disons que l'agriculture, il y a plusieurs volets, et dans tous les volets, fort heureusement, il y a des possibilités d'apporter quelque chose de différent, et donc un business model optimisé. Par exemple, si on prend le volet sécurité et sanitaire dans l'agriculture, il y a plusieurs problèmes qui peuvent se passer au niveau du terrain s'il est contaminé, l'eau qui est contaminée, ou tout simplement l'agriculteur qui lui-même rencontre des difficultés pour recueillir en fait ces différents produits, on va dire. Donc si on reste sur le domaine de l'eau, comme je le disais tout à l'heure, on peut prédire grâce à l'intelligence artificielle à base de données sur des points critiques, prédire qu'il y aura une problématique qui va arriver dans l'irrigation, par exemple.
Mais on est toujours dans l'opérationnel.
Oui.
C'est pour ça que je pose la question, est-ce qu'il y a des changements fondamentaux? Est-ce que l'agriculteur peut vendre autre chose? Je vais le dire autrement, est-ce que l'agriculteur peut vendre autre chose que ce qu'ils vend aujourd'hui, c'est-à-dire des produits d'agriculture? Est-ce que, je vais parler d'un exemple que j'ai vu, qui est une logique de location ou de mini-location plutôt que de vente de produits. Mais est-ce qu'on peut envisager d'autres business models complètement différents de ceux qu'on voit aujourd'hui? Et quel impact ils peuvent avoir de manière structurelle sur, par exemple, l'agriculture dans un pays comme le Maroc? Peut-être, Karine, if you can...
Yeah, so I think that the main change today is that every smallholder farmer can actually sell directly to the consumer. Today, with all the marketplaces around, there's no need in distributors, there's no need to share revenues with other people. You can get your products directly to the consumer, and this is a completely new business model that is available now.
Can we, for example, kind of think about having a kind of cloud type of model for agriculture? I don't know, I mean, I'm just brainstorming with you, but can we think about instead of selling a product, we sell a service? Or instead of selling is this something that I completely understand this disintermediation or Uberization type of things where we connect directly the producers to the sellers to the end customer. But do you think, are there any kind of models different, like a cloud model or whatever, that can be applied to agriculture?
I think that is, first of all, it's already happening with machinery mainly. But I think that as much data that we will collect as farmers that works together, you can utilize and also sell the data. Today there are new models of parametric insurance, for an example. Yeah. How you can insure your crop, how can you take microloaning with this insurance law, and how you can understand better, and how you can predict better the type of, I don't know, disaster, climate change, everything that is going to affect your crop. And if farmers will work together and even collect all this data, this is valuable to everyone. So yes, you can build the cloud.
We can think that tomorrow a farmer will sell data more than maybe crops. Je ne sais pas si...
Non, mais c'est très bien. C'est ce que je rejoins complètement, Karine, par rapport à ce qui a été dit. Donc, effectivement, je n'ai pas grand-chose à rajouter par rapport à la question, en fait. Elle y a répondu totalement.
OK, très bien. Alors, OK, now that we know where we may be able to go, we know what is the status now, if we try to think really in a very practical manner, how can we in Africa, in Morocco, how can we go there? How can we make this happen? How can we help the small, the middle, or the big farmers go to this solution, try to change their business model, improve their productivity and the operational model? How can we go to this, or for example, go directly to final customer? How we can help them do this? And again, this problem, by the way, this problem of intermediation in agriculture is really a big problem, for example, in countries like Morocco, because sometimes the middleman can get more money than the farmer himself, and he can control the market itself. So, je ne sais pas si...
Non, c'est... En fait, on parle de notion d'équité quelque part. C'est de mettre tout le monde au même niveau. Donc le producteur moyen et le fermier. Donc la notion d'équité, la réponse, c'est effectivement la liberté et la possibilité de leur mettre un outil qui leur permet d'être en relation directe avec effectivement les acheteurs potentiels. Et donc pour ça, c'est que eux-mêmes puissent aller sur ce genre d'outils pour se faire connaître en fait, et faire connaître ce qu'ils vendent. Donc pour se faire connaître et connaître ce qu'ils vendent, il faut qu'ils apprennent à l'utiliser. Donc on en revient en fait à l'accompagnement aux nouvelles technologies. C'est de l'accompagnement personnalisé par rapport à ce qu'ils font, et pas de l'accompagnement généraliste sous forme d'incubation avec des sessions de coaching, comment manager, comment ceci. Non, moi je pense qu'aujourd'hui, le client de demain, c'est le nouveau normal, parce qu'on parle beaucoup de ça, de new normal, c'est de dire qu'on a de plus en plus de clients qui veulent des produits personnalisés, de plus en plus complexes. Je vais dire une bêtise, hein, ils vont vouloir une orange bleue, par exemple, une banane à pépins, c'est possible, ça.
Ça commence à devenir intéressant. Là, ça...
Mais non, mais ça... On peut parler de folie, c'est comme ça qu'Elon Musk a commencé, d'ailleurs, mais tout est faisable. Mais pour ça, il faut qu'il exprime son besoin et qu'il soit accompagné de manière personnalisée pour répondre à cette banane à pépins et cette orange bleue. Mais effectivement, il faut qu'il soit suivi de manière personnalisée. Je pense que c'est la réponse, que ce soit en termes de mentoring ou bien en termes de financement aussi. Voilà.
Are there any other points in terms of, again, how to practically implement this kind of high technology in the agriculture in Morocco, Africa, in these countries? Do you have any suggestions, proposals?
Yeah, we can always look at the past of Israel. You know, now Israel, as I mentioned, we have 400 companies that working in agriculture throughout the value chain, but it wasn't always like that. In the early days of Israel, it was basically a desert, no lack of water, no natural resources at all, and we needed to innovate in order to survive. What we see today is that, for example, 85% of the water that we use in Israel are desalinated. We invented the drip irrigation. So we learned a lot throughout the years. And I think that the most important thing is to collaborate, to teach each other, to educate each other, because all around the world we are coping with the same challenges, and every ecosystem, if they will learn by themselves, it's not as powerful as to learn with each other and to collaborate with each other. And as far as it goes to Morocco and Africa, I think that we need to empower the people. We need to put the strength in the people's hand, to put the strength in the smallholder farmer hands. And it happened also in Israel many years ago, when we understood that if everyone will grow crops for themselves and to provide only to their own needs, it's not will enable us to scale. So we built a whole community that grow together. Back in the days, it called the kibbutz in Israel, but it's something that it can be duplicated all around the world, that smallholder farmers can collaborate together, and not that everyone will grow their own crop, but to think together strategically what type of crop they need to answer their own needs, but also what type of crops they need in order to sell and to scale.
Okay, so I think from my perspective, we can open now the floor for discussions. Basically, I think we covered, the idea was really to cover where we are, where we want to go, how to go there, and to understand in practical cases and examples what are the key impacts that technology can have on agriculture and farming. Donc je vais ouvrir la séance de questions-réponses. Je ne sais pas s'il y a des questions au niveau de la salle. Oui. Je ne sais pas si quelqu'un peut passer le micro.
Hi, thank you for your intervention, Madame Karin and Madame Ben Ali. I think that the farming technology is necessary to the evolution of agriculture, and I think in the future that the small farmer or smallholder farmer are the hope to keep up with the food demand and secure sustainable agriculture. And my question is about the scale, the small scale farming. So how we can. The first question is how digital technology can help Africa's small farmer. And the second, how we can make small farmer adopt new technology easily.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So to your second question, it will never be easy, unfortunately. But I think that it's not by just, as I said, deploy technology, just to implement technologies, by working together, the exchange of know-how, to work together, and not technology is one part of the whole collaboration that we need to do. So you can utilize technology, but it's also important to understand know-how of both sides, is to work together for long times, to know each other, to learn the challenges, to learn what needs to be done, what have we learned from the past, and take it to the future. And again, smallholder farmers, I think this is the future of Africa and many other places in the world. And I think that as soon as they and we will learn to work with each other, to collaborate more, and to put again the power in their hands, and to make sure that they will be able, if to sell directly to the consumer, if to work together and to train them how to use technology. And again, we're not talking about complicated technology. A simple machine like that can make a huge difference in understanding and increase yield dramatically of any smallholder farmers. So I think that it's already starting. It will take time, but as much as we will work together and learn from each other, it will happen more and more.
Samira?
Oui, je vais...
C'est concernant la digitalisation de la chaîne de valeur agricole, et surtout je veux parler sur les petites unités de production comme les coopératives, donc les coopératives féminines par exemple dans le milieu rural. Comment on peut les accompagner ou bien offrir cet accompagnement personnalisé et offrir les moyens financiers et humains à ces unités de production pour bien digitaliser ou développer leurs produits d'une manière efficace.
Alors, pour accompagner les coopératives rurales, c'est bien ça la question, en digitalisation.
Oui, exactement.
D'accord.
Pour avoir l'accès au marché et commercialiser leurs produits sur des plateformes digitales.
Donc en fait, la problématique du milieu rural, c'est la distance en fait. Donc de manière physique, c'est un problème. Par contre, de manière numérique, avec le digital, c'est pas du tout un problème. Mais il faut effectivement la notion de référencement. C'est-à-dire que la coopérative rurale, il faut qu'elle apparaisse quelque part dans les bases de données pour qu'elle puisse avoir accès à des marchés qui sont éloignés, par exemple. Il y a des... Enfin, je vais dire un exemple, mais il y a des produits au Maroc qui sont à des prix standards, mais qui vont être un vrai bijou pour des pays éloignés en Asie, ou pour la Malaisie, ou pour l'Australie, etc. Donc, comment, effectivement, ces coopératives sont connues par ces Philippins et ces Malaisiens, etc. La seule façon, compte tenu de la distance, c'est la digitalisation. Maintenant, comment on accompagne les coopératives à être digitalisées? C'est par l'accompagnement, la formation. Et alors, il y a différentes façons de les accompagner en formation. Compte tenu de la contrainte qu'elles ont, ça peut être de mettre en place des systèmes de bus dans lesquels on vient leur apporter de manière ciblée les bases dont elles auront ou ils auront besoin pour se digitaliser. Et à partir de là, ça permettra qu'ils puissent se référencer. Et derrière, dans cette plateforme qui est soit institutionnelle, soit proposée par une entité privée, il y a tout un staff qui vient appuyer ce référencement et l'aider à trouver les clients qui sont en face.
Alors, si vous permettez, I will just add one question, but of course the floor is open. But there are two questions. I'm trying to do the devil advocate for these two questions. The first one is, okay, all this is good, and what you're saying is very interesting, but the problem is that a lot of farmers are not even covered in terms of 4G, for example, or in terms of basic infrastructure. So how can we transform the agriculture in countries in Africa where even the, let's say, the digital infrastructure is not there? That's the first question. And second question, I'm sure that a lot of people think about it. When we're thinking about high technology, I don't like this technology averse idea, but I need to ask you because I need to have your insight on that to help improve the vision on that. But a lot of people think about losing jobs, losing, existing values or changing existing values. And this can have a lot of impact. I mean, a lot of people think, okay, if we do all what you're saying about artificial intelligence, data, and all this stuff, in fact, a lot of what humans do will be replaced. So is there any, let's say, positive vision that we can have on these technologies? Because at the end of the day, we need to serve the human. I mean, it's important to be intelligent, it's important to use technologies, but at the end of the day, we need to have a human who can benefit from that. So what is your take on these two questions?
So I think that technology won't replace the human factor. I think that it will enable and empower people to, as I said, to grow more with less. I think that AI tools can't replace a farmer, but they can assist the farmer to better understand the status of his field, to better, to have more ways and business models to sell his products, and to be more successful, even if it's a smallholder farmer. I think that machinery and technology might exchange some of our day-to-day work, but it will enable us to do more with our time, more valuable things that will actually increase the crop, increase the revenue, and increase our better livelihood.
Samira, for both questions? Pour les deux questions, quelle est votre...
Alors, il faut que vous me la répétez parce que j'étais sur...
Oui, en fait, il y a la question de l'infrastructure. Oui. Beaucoup de gens, en fait, vont dire, OK, tout ce que vous dites est très bien, mais à la fin, ces coopératives, ces agriculteurs, ces fermiers, etc., ils se trouvent dans des zones généralement non couvertes par la technologie, soit par le réseau, ils ne sont pas forcément équipés, etc. Comment on peut agir là-dessus? Est-ce que réellement c'est un frein pour développer de la technologie ou pour faire en sorte que la technologie soit transformée, l'agriculture soit transformée par la technologie? La deuxième question, c'est par rapport en fait à est-ce que ces technologies ne vont pas d'une certaine manière remplacer certains jobs et détruire des jobs au niveau du monde de l'agriculture?
Donc, en fait, cette question-là, enfin, mes réponses, elles seront principalement plus des suggestions à faire pour les institutionnels, quelque part. Pourquoi? Parce que les personnes qui se trouvent en milieu rural, effectivement, comme on l'a dit ici, c'est que si elles n'ont pas de connexion, elles ne peuvent pas travailler avec la digitalisation. Donc ça veut dire qu'il faut ouvrir le champ de la connectivité au-delà des grandes villes et d'aller jusqu'au milieu rural. Donc soit on l'amène de manière mobile, sous forme de système, comme je le dis encore, le bus, des bus qui viennent de manière à accompagner en fait les personnes rurales en attendant qu'il y ait des installations qui sont faites adéquates et fixes pour ce marché-là. Mais bien entendu, il y aura un travail en amont parce que je dirais que l'institutionnel, il va réfléchir dans le sens où, alors, je vais être un peu dans l'égoïsme, mais il va se dire, cette région rurale, est-ce qu'elle a un vrai potentiel? Et ça nécessite effectivement d'aller investir de l'infrastructure pour pouvoir les accompagner ou pas. Et donc, si on se retrouve dans une situation où, en fait, on est dans un milieu rural où il y a 4-5 personnes qui vendent des produits différents, là, elle peut être la difficulté. Et là, à ce moment-là, on apporte le côté mobile. Donc, ça, c'est pour le côté infrastructurel. Maintenant, pour le fait que les technologies puissent remplacer certains métiers, Malheureusement, ça arrive dans certains pays. Tout dépend de la culture et de la politique du pays. Il y a des pays qu'on connaît très bien qui ont, bien sûr, sans hésiter, remplacé des jobs par des technologies. Maintenant, je sais qu'en Europe et au Maroc, on parle de IA éthique, de technologie éthique, qui doit être au service de l'humain et pas pour remplacer l'humain. Donc ça doit être un outil qui facilite le quotidien de la personne dans son travail, dans sa vie de tous les jours, ce qui se passe déjà pour nous, puisque nous avons le téléphone qui nous facilite, nous avons les fermiers qui sont connectés sur WhatsApp, pourtant c'est un outil technologie, il y a bien l'intelligence artificielle qui est derrière. Mais je dirais qu'à aucun moment, on va envisager qu'il n'y ait pas de métier qui soit supprimé, malheureusement. Ça dépend du pays, tout simplement.
Très bien. Je ne sais pas s'il y a d'autres questions. If there is no more question, yeah, okay.
Hello everyone, thanks for this day. We have so much more information, thank you. So I just want to ask everyone about when and how you are now here debating and giving us important things, informations. You are describing something we should be proud of as a woman who is in front of a lot of people. My question is, can you tell us about yourself, how you are here, and your beginning, if you want, and thanks.
Very interesting. This is something we missed in the beginning, so thank you for asking this question, because it will help our distinguished guests to present themselves and present the successes they went through. And so maybe Sam?
Sure.
Okay.
So thank you for this question. I've been involved in the Israeli high-tech ecosystem for over a decade. I started my career as an investment banker, worked and helped assisted companies, large companies, with their mergers and acquisition, and also to go public. I've been involved in the venture capital industry in Israel, was part of the Draper Fisher Jefferson VC in Israel, and worked at Startup Nation Central, which is a very interesting nonprofit based in Israel that assists the Israeli ecosystem to connect to other ecosystems around the world, to bring multinational cooperation to Israel, to locate technologies, partnerships, and to assist them to open their own presence in Israel. I think that, I don't know how many of you know, but Israel is a very small market. Although it's a well-known technological hub, most of the Israeli company don't sell in Israel. The Israeli market is very, very small. So we actually turned this disadvantage to one of the main strengths of Israel, because every Israeli company from day one is thinking globally. And I think that one of the main strengths is to collaborate with each other and to learn from each other. Currently, I worked together with my partner in Bal Arieli, who is also here in the conference. And we invest and assist in Israeli companies and startups from every stage and in various industries. So we also invest in them, but we also assist them to grow and develop.
Good. Samira?
Donc je vais expliquer mon parcours qui est un peu très divers.
En fait, il ne faut pas oublier qu'on a aussi beaucoup de gens qui sont là aussi pour s'inspirer, et vos parcours certainement tellement réussis, avec beaucoup de rayonnement à l'international, est une inspiration pour beaucoup de jeunes et de femmes ici.
D'accord. Alors donc moi j'ai commencé avec une formation dans le domaine de la chimie. Pourquoi? Parce que je m'intéressais particulièrement à la chimie organique, qui permettait de voir un petit peu le dessin des molécules, parce que je suis une passionnée de dessin. Donc je suis beaucoup dans la créativité, et donc j'avais besoin de retrouver ma passion dans mon travail. Donc j'ai travaillé donc dans la chimie organique, j'ai commencé ma carrière dans ce domaine-là, dans une usine. Donc j'ai choisi de faire après de la maintenance. Pourquoi? Parce qu'on m'a fait une proposition et en fait tout simplement dans la maintenance, il y a la compréhension des choses jusqu'à la molécule, donc les matériaux, comprendre tous les aspects. Et c'est un domaine qui est assez diversifié, parce que ça concerne la sécurité, l'environnement, ça concerne les personnes, ça concerne le management, les process, la production. Donc c'était vraiment varié et je trouvais que ce domaine-là pouvait m'amener vers différentes casquettes. Donc j'ai été manager pendant plus de 10 ans dans la même usine, donc je suis passée par tous les services. J'ai fait chimie, recherche et développement, maintenance. Ensuite, j'ai été à la direction parce qu'on m'a très vite confié des gros projets. Le dernier projet que j'ai monté, c'est une Green Manufacture Proof of Concept. Alors en gros, on part d'un déchet et il faut le valoriser pour que ça devienne un produit noble. Et donc ce produit, aujourd'hui, il est vendu aux industries pharmaceutiques et cosmétiques, comme Chanel, L'Oréal, Nivea, etc., sans utiliser de produits chimiques et en utilisant de l'énergie verte. Donc, à un moment donné dans l'usine, j'ai très vite vu que j'atteignais mes limites et j'avais besoin encore d'aller plus loin. Donc, j'ai pris une dimension dans une fédération d'industriels. Je ne voulais plus accompagner une industrie, mais accompagner plusieurs secteurs d'activité et plusieurs industriels. Donc, j'ai, grâce à la fédération, eu cette chance-là à l'échelle européenne. Donc, et après ça, donc, je suis rentrée depuis l'année dernière dans l'organisation mondiale, donc une échelle internationale. Et ça m'a permis de décider et de choisir de quitter, c'est un choix difficile, mon poste de directrice adjointe et de partir dans l'entrepreneuriat. Et donc j'ai réfléchi longuement pendant 2 ans en essayant de bien structurer vers où j'allais, les clients potentiels, les ressources, l'équipe. Ça m'a pris 2 ans de réflexion et ça m'a permis de créer donc le concept avec plusieurs personnes dans le monde qui s'appelle Global Business Matchmaking. Voilà.
Magnifique.
I just want to add that after meeting everyone here in the crowd and all the speakers throughout the day, and I'm sure that also in the next 2 days, that I think that we already proved that every woman can do whatever she wants, and she only needs to decide to do it, and it's everyone can do the impossible, so you only need to dream and execute.
Exactly. Thank you very much. I think I will just add, I completely agree. I think that women are the future of men. And in terms of intelligence, this is something that has been proved. Because if the first industrial revolution helped to move from physical type of work to intellectual type of work, this revolution, which is the 4th industrial revolution, is helping to go from rational intelligence to more emotional, social, and intuitive intelligence, where I think women are far better than men. So I think the future of intelligence and the future of work will be certainly more in favor of women. I will just maybe finish, if you allow me, just by saying that in this world where artificial intelligence is kind of the big word, we need all of us to try to be more intelligent, less artificial, and extremely more human. Thank you very much, and let's see the other debate. Thank you.